And let's go straight over to that paper's political correspondent, Martina Bett. Welcome, Martina.
Good morning.
Good morning. Well, let's kick off with Nigel Farage. I know it's a campaign of your paper, and I'm right behind it personally. Nigel Farage has written a piece for you on page 14. There it is. And the headline is, "Who voted for this government to be our pleasure police? Stick up for your punter." Now, this is the Sun's Save Our Bets campaign, because our socialist government, being miserable left-wingers, as they always are, the only thing they ever see, you know, if they see people in a pub, they start thinking, oh, the scourge of alcoholism. They don't think about the people enjoying a pint and the people who get a lot of pleasure out of a drink in their local. It's always the downside. When they see people gambling, putting a flutter on a horse or a dog or whatever, oh, gambling addiction is just one of the great scourges of the nation. Now, of course, every pleasure tends to have a downside. But if you take drinking, most people get a lot of pleasure out of drinking. It does them no harm whatsoever. In fact, it's good for them. It's good for their mental health. You take betting, same deal. Yes, you have some victims. Gambling addiction is a terrible thing. It ruins lives. But it's a tiny, tiny minority, and we should do our best to help those people. But we shouldn't sort of cancel betting because a very small minority suffer because of it, because most people, millions of people, enjoy betting. And it does them no harm at all. And as Nigel Farage says, the government seems to have appointed itself as our pleasure police. We didn't vote for this. They should leave gambling alone. Your paper is quite right. Save our bets, right?
That's right. And I think, as you were saying, Farage's language is quite punchy in our page 10 today. And he's arguing that, Labour is this middle-class party that does not trust ordinary people to, have a bet or a pint without turning into addicts. And, of course, he makes the point that now pints are much more expensive because of the national insurance rise for employers. And also the Labour Party wanted to ban smoking in pub gardens.
That's
and it
right.
was a story in The Sun that managed to stop that. So he's really framing Labour as the party of anti-fun. But, the Save Our Bets campaign is not just about fun, because it's very clear that this would be incredibly damaging to the economy, and lots of jobs would be lost. I think we're talking about, Betfred said that they could shut 1,300 of their shops. This is something like 7,000 jobs. William Hill is talking about 1,500 jobs. So, that's quite a lot for our economy, and for a Labour government that has slowed hiring again for the increase in national insurance. It's not something that they should be looking at. And Nigel also makes the point that, it's not just bookies that are going to struggle with this. It's also arcades. Obviously, is his constituency in Clacton. There would be severely damaged by the increase in gambling, in taxes on gambling, and also on sport, because we know that those betting companies, are the ones that fund advertising and all of that, and it's grassroots sport and so on. So it's very important, and of course, the Sun is very happy that Nigel Farage has decided to back our campaign.
Yeah, you're so right. I missed that element out. People get a lot of enjoyment out of drinking, of gambling, but also, of course, you're quite right. It's a great, both of those arenas are great boons for our economy. They provide lots of employment. So this idea, shut it down because some people suffer because of it. It's not only the fun police. It's not only a killjoy, it is also bad for our economy and bad for probably millions, but certainly thousands, tens of thousands of people's jobs. Absolute madness. So good for the Sun, good for Nigel Farage. Save our bets, folks. Meanwhile, on page 19, your excellent colleague, is he your boss, I suppose? The political editor, Jack Elsom.
Of course.
He is your boss, yeah. He's sitting just there, isn't he? You having to say that. No,
I'm afraid he's been sent. Kemi Badenoch is doing a speech today.
I know.
And it appears that she's doing it outside. So there's a bunch of journalists all standing.
Freezing.
waiting for her.
Serves them right, serves them right. But yeah, we're going to go live to that a bit later. But Jack has written about the Prime Minister. He's angry, so why isn't he doing anything? But the aspect of this that I think we should discuss is, why isn't the Prime Minister doing something about our spiralling asylum seeker hotel problem? You know, we learned earlier this week, due to a report from the Home Office, that in fact Home Office civil servants are having rings run round them by private contractors, and instead of going forward, asylum seeker hotels costing us taxpayers an obscene £4.5 billion going forward, they're going to cost £15 billion. Why isn't the Prime Minister getting to grips with this scale of waste?
Well, that is a very good question. And, you know, this thing that came out earlier this week, that they want to house migrants in 2 military sites to begin with, you know, it's something that the Home Office has been looking at for quite a long time. So why is it getting only to now, when maybe next month 900 men will be housed there? And we know that the MOD was looking at other sites, dozens of other sites, I'm told. So it's really up to the Home Office to now do something about it. And I think the Prime Minister was very clear. There was quite a lot of talk earlier about whether these sites would be more expensive actually than hotels. And I think what we got from the Prime Minister's spokesman was that, yeah, it depends on what site, because there are some sites that are available now, ready to go, and there are other sites that might take a little bit of work. So that could be more expensive in the short term. But anyway, the Prime Minister was very clear that he said he thinks that it's actually like the British public does not want to see asylum seekers in sort of luxury accommodation, and actually putting them in military sites, even if it ends up costing more, might be a better solution, because you don't have that image of asylum seekers coming here and just being put in a 4-star hotel.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with that is, I mean, I don't mind the idea of it, but it doesn't get to the crux, to the heart of the matter, does it? I mean, what the people of this country want to see is a stop to all of these migrants crossing the Channel illegally and then being welcomed into the warm embrace of our asylum seeker insanity. They want to stop this. So Starmer seems to have converted the whole debate into imagining that what the nation is obsessed with is where we put these asylum seekers. Yes, it's a better, cheaper option to put them in military bases or disused military bases than expensive hotels, but that isn't really what we're worried about. And by the way, when he says, yeah, I'm going to put all of my asylum seekers in military bases, no more in hotels, what he's done, he's planning to put 900 migrants or asylum seekers in a military base in Scotland and another one in East Sussex. Meanwhile, we got 32,000 living in hotels. So tip of the iceberg doesn't even begin to cover it, does it?
No, absolutely. And I think what's lacking there, of course, he hopes that by putting migrants into military sites, for instance, and making it seem like it's not as comfortable, it's not as luxurious, the pull factors would be reduced. But the truth is that there is no there's no real deterrent, right, to stop these migrants making the journey. And we've seen the farcical one-in, one-out deal with France.
This is supposed to be a deterrent. It's not really, is it?
It's supposed to be a deterrent, but already 2 weeks ago, I think I can't remember if it was just last week. It might have been just last week, where it emerged that a small boat migrant, Iranian,
came back.
Came back.
Yeah. By the way, Martina, there's another scandal with him. He's still here. He's still here.
I know, absolutely, because we found out that, of course, the Epping migrant, sex attacker migrant, was deported yesterday, but then in the morning, the minister admitted that the Iranian man who came here twice was still here, and it's not clear why he's not been deported yet.
God almighty, it's just such a shambles, and it's becoming a dangerous shambles, because as we're seeing more and more, too many of these asylum seekers, not all of them, most of them are decent people, I'm absolutely sure, but too many of them are either being charged with or convicted of very serious crimes, and the nation is extremely concerned about this. Martina, great to talk to you. Thank you so much. Martina Bett there, political correspondent at The Sun.